In this video, we want to check together why the prices of coffees are different, why single origin coffee is expensive. So expensive food inside a business. Coffee production is an intricate and costly process. To produce 1 pound of coffee beans, farmers need to harvest over 1,500 cherries, each containing 2 seeds that are later sorted before reaching your cup. The average US price for a pound of coffee is $5.89, but specialty categories like single origin coffee can cost over $30 per pound, and some exclusive harvests may go for over $80 per pound. The coffee harvest season is currently at its peak in Yeary County, Kenya, and there are over 12.5 million coffee farms worldwide. Joseph, the owner of A1 Acre Farm, is one of many smallholders who inherited his farm from his parents. Coffee production promotes equality among farmers. Coffee is a beverage that values equality and high quality. The prices of coffee beans are determined by various factors such as altitude, climate, soil, and sun. The farms where coffee is grown are usually located at a high altitude of around 1,700 meters above sea level, and the soil is rich in volcanic minerals. The coffee plants grow slowly and take time to mature, which contributes to the quality of the final product. Coffee is a widely grown crop with its unique flavors and aromas depending on the region it is grown in. Single origin coffee is brewed exclusively from beans from one region, which helps to preserve its distinct flavors. The quality and unique taste of coffee are the main reasons why it can be expensive, but achieving that quality requires a lot of effort. The terrain of coffee farms is too uneven for machines, so farmers have to pick the coffee cherries by hand, ensuring that they are ripe and of high quality. They pick the red mature ones and leave the green ones and return later. After 2 or 3 weeks, vesting after the green ones have matured. Per week, every person can harvest up to 500 kilograms. Paying close attention while picking is necessary as each branch has both ripe and unripe cherries. The way coffee is harvested in Kenya differs greatly from Brazil, which is the largest coffee producer in the world. Brazil's coffee is produced on large farms with flat terrain, where the harvest is mechanized, trees are at a lower elevation, and yields are higher. This process of mechanized production is more efficient but can lead to issues in quality control. When the entire tree is picked, both ripe and unripe cherries are mixed together, creating commodity coffee, which is destined for mass production and industrial use. Due to its low and volatile price, quality control can be compromised. Specialty coffee, on the other hand, is the highest quality coffee and has unique attributes that are rated highly by expert tasters known as Q graders. Single origin coffee, which has distinct flavors, is often rated as the highest end of specialty coffee. It is important to note that both specialty coffee and commodity coffee come from the same plant. Arabica coffee beans are highly valued, but not all Arabica coffee is created equal. The can of ground coffee mentioned here is 100% Arabica and is priced at around $8 per pound. On the other hand, IN 2022 is a single-origin coffee grown in Panama that sold for over $6,000 a pound at auction, and it is also 100% Arabica. This is because the better the flavor, and the smaller the harvest, the more expensive the coffee gets. At Mary's farm, the workers still have to weed out any defects from the cherries after harvesting, as these negatively impact the flavor and lower the price of the coffee. However, the workers need to work quickly because processing coffee soon after harvest is key to maintaining its quality. Most farms in Kenya share centralized facilities for processing coffee as processing infrastructure is expensive. In the region, more than 1,000 farmers bring their coffee to this processing site. There are various methods used for processing coffee, each affecting its taste differently. However, the main objective is to separate the seeds from the fruit. The 5 stages of coffee processing include parchment, cream, coffee, roasted coffee beans, and more. The washed process is the most common method used for processing coffee in Kenya. The coffee is first weighed and inspected, and then the outer skin is removed through a process called deep pulping. Next, it is placed in fermentation tanks for about 12 to 14 hours to break down the fruit sticky inner layer. The following day, workers wash away the fruit, and the coffee is pushed through a series of channels to clean off any remaining seeds. At this processing facility, one of the many grading processes involves separating lower quality and less dense coffee beans that float to the surface. Although these beans may not be of the highest quality, they still provide a significant source of income for producers. Meanwhile, the denser coffee beans are directed to soaking tanks where any remaining mucilage is removed. After this process, the coffee beans are spread out on drying tables. Coffee roasters sell their products as either a blend of beans from different countries or a single origin. However, there is no official definition for the term single origin. It can refer to a cooperative or a country. Consumers who purchase this type of coffee do so for the unique flavor and aroma it provides. The price of coffee includes the costs of processing, transportation, and running a roasting business. The cost of coffee here is quite high. The expenses have increased from the farm to the port, which has affected our coffee subscriptions and at-home consumption. When we mention the producer's name, it means we have paid more for that particular coffee due to our relationship with them. Our investment in these areas has led to a price range of $21 to $26. We hope that our customers also value these aspects as much as we do. Companies like Metric have a significant role in the coffee supply chain. Since most coffee is consumed outside the country of its origin, the roasting process has a significant impact on its taste. Achieving the best flavor from single-origin coffee requires careful roasting. Solisai Cordero, a husband and wife team in Terra Zoo, provides this 20-pound Costa Rican honey-processed coffee. Roasters use big machines, like the one I am using, to evenly heat the green coffee and develop its flavor. Hora, a tool that uses sight, smell, and sensors, helps track the roast's development. It takes years to master the skill of finding the ideal roast level for each coffee. The Trier, another tool I'm using, allows us to see the color and smell the coffee's development. The green coffee smells like hay or grass, but as it sweetens, you can smell some acidity or a vinegar-like smell. Finally, there is a sweet fruitiness and baked goodness when the coffee is complete. At Metric, the coffee beans are roasted for an average of 11 minutes before Hara places them in the cooling tray to halt the roasting process. In contrast, commodity coffee roasters tend to prefer a darker roast as it can cover up defects and create a more uniform taste in a blend of beans from different countries. However, dark roasts can come off as bitter, while medium and light roasts offer more sweetness and brighter notes. Although some commodity coffee is blasted for a minute, at Metric, they take their time to develop all of the flavors and qualities of the coffee. They do not add anything to the coffee. All the flavors are inherent in the raw product from the farmer and growing conditions. Light roasts at Metric allow the unique flavors of a region to shine, creating a distinct taste between two single-origin coffees. Achieving excellent results can be challenging when comparing single-origin and blends. Sometimes, blends can produce exceptional results, while single-origin coffees may not meet your expectations, and vice versa. The flavor and price of coffee can be significantly affected by the processing method used. Although the washing process results in a delicious cup of coffee, it can be wasteful and expensive due to the amount of water needed to dispose of wastewater. However, we are currently working on recycling the water used during the process to minimize waste. Once the coffee is spread out, workers move it to clean tables and continuously turn it by hand, until it reaches the desired moisture content of over 11 to 12%, which takes around 14 days. Our goal is to produce uniform, defect-free beans. At this stage, coffee is known as parchment coffee due to the paper-like layer encasing the coffee bean. Before shipping, producers use a small machine to mill the coffee and remove the parchment layer. For larger quantities, coffee undergoes another round of grading, with each country having its own unique methods of classification. In Kenya, beans are classified by size, with larger and denser beans often being the most expensive. After months of hard work, producers are left with green coffee, which is then exported and roasted in consuming countries, marking the start of a more opaque process. Farmers don't always know how much a buyer pays an exporter, so they don't know if they're being cut out of potential profit. The benchmark for the price of Arabica coffee follows what's called the C market. It's an exchange like the stock market where traders buy and sell contracts based on the expected future value of coffee. It doesn't consider the quality of the coffee, and the price is volatile, which makes it hard for farmers to operate sustainably. In 2019, the average closing price was $1.02 per pound, its lowest point that year, 87 cents. Despite inflation and increased cost of production, the PC market is almost the same as in 1980. Joseph is able to run his coffee farm profitably, but this is not the case for many farmers globally. According to a 2019 study, around 44% of small-scale coffee farmers live in poverty. Although specialty coffee is sold at a higher price than the commodity price, Joseph currently sells his coffee at $3.18 per pound. Despite the high demand for his high-quality coffee, he believes that the price should be higher, at $4.55 per pound, to ensure sustainability. However, his prices have decreased in recent years, and it's unclear why the rest of the world market has flooded their coffee. We need more information to understand why coffee prices have decreased, especially since we are working hard to produce high-quality coffee despite the challenges of growing coffee. It's not fair that farmers who produce less than 5 kilos from one tree are not able to break even despite their efforts to produce high-quality coffee. The steep investments required to grow coffee don't always pay off for farmers. Many roasters in the coffee industry are actively pursuing direct trade partnerships that benefit the coffee producers. My goal is to both source high-quality coffees and establish year-over-year relationships. While some roasters publish the prices they pay for green coffee, the level of transparency varies. As roasters, we have a responsibility to educate consumers about the difference between a product from Colombia that's fully sourced with transparency versus one that has no traceability and is cheap. If it's a cheap imitation, it means that someone in the supply chain is cutting corners, and it's likely the producer who suffers the most. For instance, retail coffee from a particular region of Kenya has sold for $22.50 per 12-ounce bag, which is over 9 times what the farmers are paid. However, comparing these numbers doesn't reveal the entire story. Even when producers are paid a premium, there will always be a markup between coffee cherries and roasted coffee. Roses typically pay more for single-origin coffee, but there's no definitive premium. The real truth is that you can buy coffees at commodity pricing that meets specialty standards. For so long, the market has been so low, and the quality has been so high that producers need to sell their coffee. They need to earn a living because if they are not earning enough to cover the cost of production, not earning enough just to meet the minimum requirements to have a decent way of life, they will have a job. That is what's happening worldwide. Many throughout the specialty coffee industry are working towards more transparency, better pay for producers, and more access to research and best practices. Ultimately, when coffee prices are low, the producers are hurt the most. I hope you enjoyed the content of this video. Please write your comments to me, and also support me by subscribing and liking to produce more content. Thank you for watching.